Welcome into the latest edition of the Talon here on BCTV. I'm your host, Thomas Greenberg, joined tonight by fellow BC senior and sports aficionado Andrew Cirincione. We're going to get started today talking about the Jamie Collins trade, which took New England by storm on Monday when the Patriots traded star linebacker Jamie Collins to the Cleveland Browns for a third-round pick. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Yeah, it was obviously a very surprising move that the Patriots made, and in the short term, I didn't think it was a great move for them. They are probably the favorite in the AFC right now. And losing one of your best defensive players in a season where the Super Bowl teams are wide open in both conferences, I did not think it was a great move for them. Obviously this is a classic Belichick move. He loves to trade guys a year early rather than a year late. But Jamie Collins is touted as one of their top defensive players, and to lose a talent like that for a third-round draft pick, I mean, draft picks are nice commodities to have, but we all know the draft is a crapshoot. So,
You know what, Andrew? I agree with that point, that it isn't good in the short term for the Patriots, just because he is one of their best defensive players. You can say he freelances on defense or he misses some plays sometimes, but he's better than the next man up, no matter what. I mean, he's always graded high on the Pro Football Focus ratings, on ESPN ratings. They're always saying Jamie Collins is one of the best, and you can't deny that. So I think in this case, I will argue a little bit for the Patriots, because when you see Belichick make a move like that, there has to be some sort of inner workings going on, things that the media and we don't see as fans, but things that are happening on the inside. I mean, I don't want to degrade Jamie Collins' name in any way, but I think there has to be something like that, because Belichick's been doing it for a long time and at a very successful rate. Speaking in terms of college sports and football as well, we here at Boston College are rooting for the BC Eagles to make a bowl game this year. They're coming off a big win against NC State, and which gives a little hope to make a bowl game, because they really only have to win 2 of their last 4 games. They play Louisville this weekend, Florida State a couple weeks down the road, and then Wake Forest and UConn are their other games. What are the chances you give them of making that bowl game?
I mean, for me, I'm obviously hopeful, and I think we all hope that they make a bowl game. But I think there's a chance, but I wouldn't say it's likely that they do end up making it. Louisville and Florida State are very formidable opponents. I think a win against either of them would be a long shot. So then that means they'd have to be both Wake Forest on the road and home against UConn. I mean, I think it's definitely possible, but I would not say there's a great chance that happens, given how we've played thus far.
Well, I think I actually disagree on this point, because, look, they're coming off a big win against NC State, and what that told us was that the offensive mindset is going to be different heading down the stretch, because they were much more aggressive that game than they have been all season. That's a good thing, because their defense, I think, is dominant enough to win at least 2 of the next 4 games. So, like you said, Louisville and Florida State are pretty surefire losses. It would take a miracle to beat either of those teams. But Wake Forest and UConn, Wake Forest is pretty much on our level in terms of overall team. I think our defense is much better than theirs, and then our offense is worse than theirs, as this season and as last season have shown. But I think we do have a chance to beat them, and a really good one, just because of how dominant that defense is and how aggressive that offense is, or it will be in the rest of the season. And then UConn, I think, should, no matter what, be a win. Even if we win 3 of the next, even if we lose 3 of the next 4, UConn will be that one surefire win, in my opinion. So moving on to baseball, which it was a huge week in baseball terms, because the World Series once again was the center of the sports world, which we don't see baseball being the center of the sports world much. The Cubs broke an 108-year curse this year, which is crazy. I mean, as a Red Sox fan, I've experienced that same sort of thing with an 86-year curse. I know the Indians wish they could have gotten rid of that 56-year curse that they have. But in terms of the Cubs, who do you think deserves the most credit for that win?
I mean, for me, it's got to be Theo Epstein. I mean, this man has broken 2 curses already within 12 years. I mean, he's clearly one of the best general managers that baseball's ever seen. He's great at assembling a good staff, hiring the right manager in Joe Madden, and I think he really did a good job of just building the team piece by piece. I mean, they did tank for a few years, which people kind of forget about now. They had some high draft picks. They got Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, and then he got the veterans at the right time. He signed Lester, he got Lackey, Hayward. And then even the trade with Chapman at the end was a great move. Turned out to be crucial. They probably would not have won the World Series without him. So he really just pushed all the right buttons, and I think he deserves the most credit. Yeah,
look, Theo Epstein deserves so much credit for this World Series win. I think he got there in 2011. It's been a long process to get him to this point, but they got there. And I think that it was fitting that Chris Bryant fielded it out and threw it to Anthony Rizzo, 2 of the young stars in the Cubs organization that have been leading them. But like you said, there are vets that are involved, and I think you have to give so much credit to the players, and in particular the pitching staff. John Lester Kyle Hendricks, and Jake Arrieta all contributed so much, not to mention Aroldis Chapman. Now look, Theo Epstein set up that team. He put those pitchers in that position. But when you're in the World Series, the players have to go out there and perform. And I think they did that in this postseason, and then in the World Series, being down 3-1 to the Indians and coming back to win. That was just a really great time for the city of Chicago and for all those fans. You know, I think baseball did take the sports world by storm this week, even if it may only last a few days. We also do have to talk about basketball, though, because basketball season is in full swing right now. We've gone through a week of the NBA season so far, and being in the Boston area, we have to talk about the Celtics and what their chances are in the East this year. Do you consider them a contender in that East?
I mean, to me, I would say they're not a contender. You know, I don't think they have what it takes to compete with the Cavs. The Cavs have shown they're pretty much head and shoulders above every other team in the East. You know, they won the championship last year. Obviously, they have the same guys returning. You know, the Celtics, I think they could contend for the number 2, number 3 seed probably, maybe make a deep playoff run, but like realistically, I can't see them beating the Cavs without an injury to LeBron. You know, I think the main thing the Celtics need in order to maybe get elevated to that status is they need Marcus Smart to step up. I mean, it's his 3rd year already. This is time for him to become, you know, a solid player.
You know what? I got to disagree with you right there, Andrew. I've never been a LeBron fan. That's been well documented with my friends and everyone who I talk to about sports. And I think that, yes, the Cavaliers showed that they are, if not one of the best team in the league this year, but no one can't be beat. I mean, you say in football, any given Sunday, it's the same thing with basketball. Now, look, in terms of like, you're not going to see the Lakers beat the Warriors this year in a Game 7 or in a best-of-7 series. But the Celtics do have pieces to make it. They have a bunch of guards who shoot the ball really well with Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley. They can get you your scoring that you need. They brought in Al Horford, who's going to elevate that defense to the next level because, you know, it was their defense that has been the problem in the past. Look, their offensive efficiency is off the charts. They're always near the top in the league. And Brad Stevens is just such a great coach, which I think every fan, including yourself, can agree that Stevens is one of the best coaches in the NBA. And what he's done with this young core unit for the Celtics has been remarkable.
Definitely.
So I think that the Celtics have to consider themselves a contender. The Raptors, the Pacers, the obviously Cavaliers, the Heat are all up there as well. But the Celtics do have a shot to win the East this year. And look, it would be great as a sports fan. So we're heading into another weekend in the NFL. We've got basketball. There's some big games coming up this weekend. The Thunder play the Warriors with that revenge game between Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. But I think we did get to a really good debate and analysis here tonight. Andrew, of course, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So that's it. Signing off for the Talon. I'm Thomas Greenberg. That's Andrew Cirincione.